simple as that. My mind can decide at all. I'm too critical, you're too typical. Take another look at your smiles. Right up to staying tonight. Not that surprised that you let me down. Find another way to survive. Just another way to get by. My hands are bound to see you around. 'Cause bad friends all your love. Like strangers in a hallway, it's best we go our own ways. I'm leaving town, I'll see you around. 'Cause bad friends die alone. Take another look at your smiles. Right up to staying tonight. Not that surprised that you let me down. Find another way to survive. Just another way to get by. My hands are bound to see you around. 'Cause bad friends die alone.
Oh, my goodness. Man, what a night. What a night, man. The Phillies lost. AEW still sucks. And Monday Night Raw was a great show tonight. I thought this was a great show with a great go-home feel to it. I thought it was the best Raw in months. If we're being brutally honest here. Because Monday night is doing one thing that I wish SmackDown would do, that I wish the other show on Wednesday would do. They tell stories. They give us characters that matter. Characters that we care about. And they take it from one week to the next. And they don't make you feel stupid. That's all we want. That's all we ask for. I'll tell you what, though, when I get to the beer garden, I'm going to be asking for a nice pumpkin ale, bro. Ice cold with a brown sugar rim. That's how we do it in the beer garden, man, this October. And when I get there on this Monday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? See you over there. Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for October 6th, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw, man. WWE in general has struggled for the majority of 2025 to tell compelling stories. Stories that we are interested in watching week by week. Seemingly this year they have abandoned the long-term story and the actual art of storytelling for what is a big moment or a big match or a big return, with no real payoff and no real reason to care outside of in that moment. The excitement in that moment. Whether you like WWE or not, some of those moments probably weren't exciting to you. Not everybody enjoyed Brock Lesnar returning at SummerSlam. Not everybody enjoyed AJ Lee returning at WrestlePalooza. Not many people enjoyed Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Not many people enjoyed John Cena's run this year as a heel. There's not a lot to really like about the WWE in 2025, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys. It's been rough. Pro wrestling in 2025 in general has largely been awful. Everything just feels cold. Everything just feels soulless. There's no real direction. One company's trying to maximize profits and only profits, and have abandoned storytelling. The other company feels like all we want is pro wrestling, and they don't give a shit about anything else. They don't care about making money. They don't care about their ratings plummeting. They don't care about long-term stories. They don't care about putting in the effort to give us characters that we genuinely want to care about. They feel like going back to year one, year two characters is going to bring all those people back. Bro, they are long gone. Nobody wants to see Jungle Jack and fucking Pockets on television. Monday Night Raw has quietly put together a beautiful string of shows the last couple weeks, with this one being the best so far in the last several weeks. And they did one thing and one thing that is the most important. And they've really focused on telling stories. They really focused on telling a story and stringing it from week to week, show to show on Monday. I wish they'd do this same thing on Friday. Seemingly feels like we have no direction on Friday. And like I said on Friday, Friday's become a fucking variety hour. It's unbelievable. I don't really understand why they can't get it together on Friday night. Get Wraith out of the chat. AEW has been fucking absolutely miserable all year. Get the fuck out of here. You're a complete idiot. I wish Friday was a little bit more like Monday, because Friday has become a mix of NXT, Monday Night Raw, and Friday Night SmackDown, and they don't know what they want to be. Monday Night Raw knows what it needs to do and knows what it wants to be. And that was evidenced by tonight. The characters that we care about were on this show tonight. Roman Reigns was back. CM Punk was back. Both integrated into stories. Roman being the better of the two. Punk is just in this holding period until we get him into War Games. Obviously, he still wants the WWE Championship, but we're waiting with Punk to get into War Games because he will absolutely be a part of the War Games team. I don't know who else is going to be a part of that War Games team, but we might have gotten a glimpse of that tonight with that segment with the Usos, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. That may be the direction that they're going. I'll get into Roman, and I'll get into Punk, and I'll get into the Usos. But the story that they're telling with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso has you interested, because not only are these characters that we genuinely care about, these characters' stories have already been told on television. You're already invested in these characters. They have equity with the viewing audience. You know what Roman Reigns is about. You know Roman Reigns' character. You are ingrained in the Bloodline story. We've been fed the Bloodline story for the last 4 years. We know Roman's story. We know Roman's character. We are invested in him. We know Jay's character, Jimmy's character. We're invested in the Usos' character. These characters have already been established on the show. This is not like taking somebody from the back that's been off TV for fucking 3 months and trying to get them into a storyline, and the crowd doesn't give a shit. There's a reason why the fans react, and there's a reason why these stories come off like they do, like we're invested, like we want more. It's because these characters have been established on the show with absolutely months of effort and story put into it. Same thing with LA Knight, same thing with CM Punk. That's one of the reasons why we care so much about these characters. The way of long-term booking has gone away. Rock came back. We thought we were getting that in February, going into March, going into Mania season, and it seemingly feels like WWE has been playing catch-up all year. And now they're finally starting to get their wheels going again, at least on Monday. Again, like I said, I don't know what we're doing on Friday. Roman, Jimmy, Jay. I'm interested to see where it goes, because it feels like the old Bloodline story again. It's a new take on what's going on. The only thing I can hope for here is that it gets Jay to the next level, and I hope it doesn't abandon Jimmy. I don't know what their end goal is. I don't know what their mission is with this. Roman's established. Jay's established. If this storyline with the Bloodline right now, the OG Bloodline, this story doesn't get Jimmy to the level of Jay, I don't know what the point of all of this is. Jimmy should be a focal point in this storyline. He needs to be brought up just like Jay was brought up. Roman brought Jay up. Now I feel like they need to bring Jimmy up as well if they really want to create all of them as equal. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I mean, this has been easily the best title match, title feud, and story for a title match in WWE all year. All year. Starting from January, I know we got Cody and Kevin Owens in that great ladder match at the Royal Rumble. That was fantastic, and I love that story. But I felt like that was honestly thrown together because they had nothing more for Cody to do. It came out of nowhere, and it was great because Kevin Owens is fucking fantastic, and Cody's one of the best storytellers in the business. But when you add Cody Rhodes as one of the best storytellers in the business, and you put him in a story and in a match with somebody that he has a long history with, like Seth Rollins, then you're just taking that to the next level. They make it look so effortless. They make it look so seamless. They make it like you can't miss this match for anything. From January all the way up to where we are right now, this is the best build for any title match all year on a WWE PLE, and I'm including WrestleMania and SummerSlam in that discussion. And this match isn't even for the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. It's for a fucking championship that is going to be showcased on this one night and then going right back into storage when the match is over. It's for ego. It's for dominance. It's for position in the company. It's for war games. This is what it's building towards. I love everything that they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And tonight we got the next piece of the puzzle with Paul Heyman. Because Rollins finally got Heyman face-to-face in the locker room. And he wanted to know exactly what Paul Heyman was thinking. He wanted Paul Heyman to give him the truth. I need to beat him, Paul. Paul Heyman seems to think that Seth Rollins is going to easily take care of Cody Rhodes. We all know Paul Heyman is a master of his craft. He's already probably got 3 or 4 working plans if plan A doesn't work out. He's already ahead of the curve. What that is, I don't know. Could be Drew McIntyre, could be Brock Lesnar, could be the Vision, could be someone new added to the Vision. We don't know. But all I know is Cody Rhodes threw that little Easter egg out there for Seth Rollins to munch on. Is it really you who's running the Vision, or is it Paul Heyman? And that has stuck with Seth Rollins for weeks now. And that's the one thing that's really bothering Seth Rollins. Because he believes he's in charge, but we all know he's not. Cody knows he's not. Paul Heyman knows he's not. Seth Rollins wants to think that. And it's even going to be further proven on Saturday that Seth Rollins is not in charge. Because when Seth Rollins beats Cody Rhodes, it's going to be because of what Paul Heyman has planned for Seth Rollins. We'll get into that because that was a tremendous piece of business on the show tonight. Maxine Dupree. She was another story on this show. Don't know why she was wrestling Becky Lynch. Don't know why this match was put together tonight. Don't know what the point of it was. Unless WWE really wants to give Maxine Dupree a platform to get her to the next level and use her as a character on the show, integrate her into the women's division. Because they see something, they feel something there with Maxine. They feel she's ready. I don't know if she's ready. But all I know is tonight she wrestled Becky Lynch. And not only does Becky Lynch constantly get her flowers for being one of the greatest of all time, Becky Lynch once again showed you how valuable she is, not only as a heel, but as an in-ring performer. Everybody that is around Becky Lynch automatically is better off for it. But Maxine Dupree showed up tonight and wrestled probably the best match of her entire life. I'm surprised it went as long as it did. And at the end, Maxine was a little bit better off for it. And it reminded me of something where the other company failed. Hopefully WWE doesn't follow in the same footsteps. But there's something that it definitely reminded me of, and we'll talk about that tonight, that the other company did not do. And I hope WWE is looking to do something a little bit different here with Maxine Dupree. Crown Jewel is this Saturday. WWE added another match with Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed in a rematch. No, it's not a stretcher match, which I thought that they were going to do. It's not an ambulance match. It is an Australian street fight, meaning that there are no rules, meaning that WWE needs to do one thing and one thing only on Saturday afternoon in Perth, Australia. They need to have Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. We're going to go over this Monday Night Raw tonight. I thought it was an excellent show, riddled with story, and I thought the in-ring action was excellent tonight. We're going to get into it. One of the best Monday Night Raws in weeks. And I'm glad to see Monday Night Raw finally, slowly start to turn that corner and tell some stories. Like I said, I wish SmackDown would do the same thing. Thank you guys very much for joining me here tonight. It is the Monday Night Raw post show right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday, October 6th, 2025. A little bit of a programming note this week. Once again, we are preempted. I hate it, but we have no choice. We're live tonight. Tuesday Night Titans is going to be preempted again this week. We will not be live tomorrow. We will be live on Wednesday. So we will be getting TNT 115 on Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That way, we'll go over everything that we've seen this week. We'll go over all the news. We'll touch upon Santos Escobar being let go by WWE. He's walking. They offered him a contract he doesn't want to sign. He is now officially a free agent as of midnight, as of a half an hour. Santos Escobar is the latest WWE walk out. Good luck to him. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Crown Jewel preview and predictions. We'll talk about AEW Title Tuesday, Dynamite. We'll talk about the NXT TNA Invasion. So it's going to be a loaded show on Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about. So make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I will be live tomorrow night with Jesse for the AEW Dynamite post. I'm covering Dynamite. I'm not covering NXT. I will be watching NXT afterwards. If I do anything regarding NXT, I may do a regular old school review and upload it on Wednesday morning. I will keep you guys posted. I do not like the preemptions. I do not like the counter programming. But we have no choice. We have to work around it. So I'll be live tomorrow with Jesse for Dynamite and the post show. And Solid Monster and I will be live on Wednesday for TNT episode 115. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the content on the channel. I uploaded 2 videos this weekend. One on the follow-up to the Gail Kim and Kenny Omega story. The other one discussed the AEW Dynamite ratings from their 6-year anniversary show, which were the lowest in AEW Dynamite history on a normal night in their normal time slot. And if you want to know why the ratings plummeted, I give you a very detailed explanation as to why AEW is losing fans at record numbers in record fashion, and that the fans are just disinterested in what they're serving up. Go check that out. Hit that thumbs up down below. Let's try for 750 likes right here live on the Monday Night Raw post show. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell for notifications. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show as always. It's the best way to support what we do here. And tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. All you guys need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling.
Oh, but JD, it's the best year ever, JD from NY 602.
Yeah. Yeah, so great that the ratings are fucking the lowest they've ever been. So great that TNA Bound for Glory is outselling Wrestle Dream. Everything's great. Monday Night Raw kicks off with Roman Reigns. He makes his way out there. He's back. Back on Raw. Raw fits him well, huh? Stands in the middle of the ring. Dallas, acknowledge me. That's all he said. Now comes Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed, and they stand on the stage. They say nothing for several seconds. And Roman Reigns finally asked Heyman, "Are you out here to stare at me, or do you have something to say?" "I don't know who's been wise-manning you since you broke my heart about public speaking, but you've ruined the entire shtick," Heyman says. "Let me show you how it's done. Dallas, acknowledge your tribal thief, Bronson Reed." Heyman said Reigns left on a stretcher and was out for a month because he was filming Street Fighter while he was playing the role of Akuma in the new Street Fighter movie. He was out for a month because of Bronson Reed, and that is the worst result of any beating he took in his career. Reigns said his father, Sika, was never stretched out or stretchered out. He said his uncle was never stretchered out either. So, Reigns goes on to say, neither of you guys knew my father, but the wise man did. He called Heyman dumbass. He asked Heyman what his dad would have said if he was here tonight. Reigns says his dad would have said, fight him now. So Reigns suggested that they fight right now before Crown Jewel. Heyman told Reed, no. That's a trap. And they should do this on his schedule. Reigns says he knows what Heyman is saying because I've been in the position where Bronson Reed is standing with the wise man whispering in my ear. I know exactly what the game plan is. He says his words aren't wise. He's a coward. Reigns said he is levels above Reed. He says he'll wrestle him whenever and wherever he wants. He said that he is the tribal chief. And he raised his arm. So we go from them having a little bit of a back and forth here. Heyman says his comments were nearly as impressive as if they came from a wise man. He challenged Reigns to face Reed at Crown Jewel on Saturday in what they're calling an Australian street fight. Now, I don't know why we need to label it an Australian street fight. We just can't label it street fight. I thought that they were going to do a stretcher match or an ambulance match of sorts because this was another instance in where Roman Reigns was stretchered out of the building due to a heinous attack by heels. They didn't go and do that. They gave us the very boring and very straightforward and uncreative Australian street fight. What's the difference between an Australian street fight and a Chicago street fight? Australian street fight and a New York street fight? Or a Tennessee street fight? What's the difference? Roman Reigns said, I accept. Heyman smiled and said, good night, everybody. So Reigns tried to get the last word in here. He said that they walked in like some tough guys, but they seemed to be walking out like a couple of bitches. Reed didn't like that, so he marched to the ring and he blew past Paul Heyman, so Heyman didn't even have an opportunity to grab him and not have him get into the ring. So he marched to the ring. He went after Reigns. Reed threw him to the floor. Heyman was watching, could do nothing about it. Reigns caught Reed with a Superman punch at ringside. He then cleared off the announce desk. Security steps in. Reigns broke free, punched away at Reed, who was in the timekeeper's area. Reigns hits another Superman punch. Fans are chanting OTC, OTC. Reed is being attended to by the agents and the backstage personnel to stay away. Roman Reigns, after what he did to Reed, gets up on the apron, gets up onto the second rope, and throws the ones in the air. And that is the way the segment came to a close. Now, like I said, we didn't really get the rules or the understanding of what an Australian street fight is supposed to be. Is it a different take? Are there different weapons? Is there a different concept of sorts? I don't know. Or is it going to be the same like everything else? So that's number one. Number two, I said this on social media, and I don't really know if this is going to be the case or not. I hope WWE takes a little bit more of a risk on Saturday morning. I will be watching at 8 a.m. I don't know when I'm going live yet for Crown Jewel, but I will be watching live along with you guys. Whoever's going to be up at that time, I'll have a pot of coffee ready. I'll be ready to go. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. The Vision got the win at WrestlePalooza over the Usos. LA Knight was the special guest referee. I am not crazy about Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns. I'll get to Braun Breaker in a second. I'm not crazy about Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns having another one-on-one match. I'm not. The last time that they wrestled was at the pay-per-view in Paris, Clash in Paris. Roman Reigns got the win in what was a good match. It was a TV match on PLE, but it was a good match nonetheless. That's where the beatdown at the end of the match happened, and they beat the shit out of Roman Reigns and sent him packing for a month so he can go film his movie in Australia, as he's going to be in the new Street Fighter live-action movie. Roman won clean. There was no shenanigans. There was nothing else after the match. He got beat down. He got stretchered out. And he got written off TV. It is a natural progression that we get some sort of revenge by Roman on the Vision for what they did at Clash in Paris. I don't know why we can't go with Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns instead. But WWE seems to have a different way about it. They're doing this because Bronson Reed missed, if you guys remember. Elimination Chamber last year took place in Perth, Australia. And Bronson Reed missed that because of reasons. Now, this is probably a make good to get him on the show in a very meaningful way in his home country. And I think WWE is paying it back to Bronson Reed because he missed the last time they were in Perth. So I understand them doing Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns for the simple fact that it does continue what they did at Clash in Paris, and it gets Bronson Reed on the Australian show in Perth in front of his friends and family in a marquee match against Roman Reigns. Maybe WWE is saving Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns for before War Games because they have a Saturday night's main event that's taking place in Utah at the beginning of November. I'd like to think that that would be one of the marquee matches on that show, along with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Or maybe we get a Cody Rhodes World Championship match there against Drew McIntyre. I don't know what else they have planned. On one hand, we got everything making sense coming out of Clash in Paris as to why this match is taking place. Bronson Reed on the Australian show in Perth makes sense because he missed the last time they were there. Fans want Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns. WWE may be saving that for Saturday night's main event. That'll be the first show exclusively on Peacock. That'll be a big deal. The fact that Roman beat Bronson Reed clean at Clash in Paris. The fact that Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beat Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. They need to do one thing and one thing only here on Saturday. Bronson Reed needs to beat Roman Reigns. He needs to. Now, I don't know if it's going to end up being that way because I'm predicting Seth Rollins to beat Cody Rhodes. I don't know if the Vision is going to make a clean sweep with the matches that they are in on Saturday afternoon. I don't. I'd like to think so because the one thing that I'm thinking about is how do we keep the group strong going into War Games? I would not have them lose anything. I would not have them lose a single fucking match, and you build them up as a faction that is going into War Games that is as strong as ever. And you can't get to that point if Bronson Reed, again, in a one-on-one match, loses to Roman Reigns. Now, the no DQ situation opens it up for him to get a win while you also protect Roman Reigns. So it's not like he'd be beating him straight up clean like Roman beat Reed at Clash in Paris. I don't think WWE would be that adventurous to go and do that. But this Australian street fight opens it up a little bit where you could get Reed the victory via heel tactics or some bullshit while also at the same time protecting Roman Reigns. I don't give a fuck how we get there. I don't care how it's done. I don't care how you script it. Bronson Reed needs to beat Roman Reigns. We physically need to see him 1, 2, 3. Roman is God. A loss is not going to set Roman Reigns back, and he's never going to not recover from losing to Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beating Roman Reigns is going to do a hell of a lot more for Bronson Reed than it would do Roman Reigns beating Bronson Reed. We've already been there, done that. So if WWE has the fucking balls to take one of their top guy, realistically, to take their top guy and put him in a situation where he gives back to Bronson Reed here at home in a no DQ situation where you can make it like it doesn't even matter, then do it. Where is the harm in that? There is none. You have to make the group as viable and as strong as you possibly can make them going into War Games. They are going to be the War Games heel faction. We all know that. You do not need them to go into that match losing. Now, I could be completely wrong here. Reigns could beat Reed. They do Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns at Saturday night's main event, and they save Roman losing to Breaker instead of Reed. But why is that fair? I don't know why we can't give both Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker a victory over Roman Reigns. What the fuck is Roman Reigns here for? Does Roman need the victory? Roman is untouchable. He's not going to be around forever. Reed and Breaker are. They're the future. Pay it forward. Give back. Get your revenge in War Games. I see the babyface is winning in War Games anyway. That needs to be done. That needs to be done. Again, I don't know if WWE is going to be that risky or take the chances. You know how Triple H plays it safe. This pay-per-view needs to be anything but safe. We need to see some fucking shock. We need to see some awe. We need to see some surprises. And I don't mean a random return or a fucking new member to a fact. We need to have that feeling of shock via a victory. This would be a great shock. Wow. Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. What is so difficult in actually getting us over that finish line? I hope it happens. I talk up a big game. I make it look and sound all pretty, but I don't know if WWE is going to actually go and do that. They showed CM Punk arriving backstage. Lyra Valkyria, IYO SKY. And then all of a sudden we go backstage to Asuka. She's with Adam Pearce. Asuka demanded Adam Pearce to give her a match with IYO and Kairi tonight. Now, the way that this made it sounded like she wanted a triple threat match with IYO and Kairi tonight, but she wanted IYO and Kairi one-on-one. She wanted to see IYO and Kairi one-on-one. Pearce says he would see if they had room on the show. Asuka starts yelling at him in Japanese. I understand. And then he walks away and says, man, I need a drink. Yeah, so do I. Normally, I need one on Wednesdays. He walked away. Kairi walked up to Asuka, who was smiling. She went from angry to happy. They got Bayley playing a bipolar character, yet Asuka is playing a bipolar character as well. She was just screaming her head off at Adam Pearce, and then all of a sudden, all smiles when Kairi walks in. They're going to teach IYO respect at Crown Jewel, but tonight, Kairi will face IYO one-on-one. Now, Kairi said she didn't want to fight IYO one-on-one because she still wants to bring her back into the family as she is family. She loves IYO. Asuka got all angry again and slapped Kairi in the face. Kairi starts crying. Asuka told her, you better win, and she smiles very sadistically. She then left Kairi crying to herself, and then she yelled as she walked down the hallway, Kairi! How great is Evil Asuka, bro? Evil Asuka's great. Love it. It's the best Asuka has felt in many, many years. Honestly. As a character on TV, this is the best she's looked and felt in many years. That's another match we could do at Saturday night's main event. Asuka versus IYO at Saturday night's main event. That'll be shaping up to be a great fucking show if they actually put the pieces together where they need to be. First match of the night. Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch. This was a non-title match. This went 14 minutes. I know. I was just as floored to see Maxine Dupree in a pro wrestling exhibition for any more than 3 minutes. I'll get into this and break it down, and then we'll discuss how I'm feeling about all this Maxine Dupree, Becky Lynch stuff. So, bell rings about half an hour in. We got the opening segment with Rain, Reeds, and Heyman. And then we got the backstage segment with Pierce, Kairi, and Asuka. And we get into this match here to start the show, start the in-ring action. So Maxine starts pushing Becky into the corner right as the bell rang. Becky fights back. Maxine avoided a big charge by Becky into the corner and landed a Luthez press on Lynch. Irish whips into the turnbuckle. And Maxine then dropkicked Becky's leg. Not very good there. You could tell Maxine is not all there. She's still very much green when it comes to some of the things that she does or the things that she wanted to do. She tried to hit this dropkick. It looked like she was trying to aim higher for the dropkick, but landed kind of below Becky's belt. She went for a high dropkick, but hit it low. The Irish whips weren't really all that great either. Becky bailed out to ringside. Maxine flipped onto Becky, which looked a little awkward, almost as if she didn't want to do the maneuver. She played up to the crowd. Becky took over eventually with a T-bone suplex into the barricade. Suplex Maxine into the security barricade. We go into a commercial break. Right around, I would say, 2-3 minutes in. We go into the break. We come back from the break. Commentary is really playing it up that Maxine has been progressing week after week. She's been training. She's looking good. She landed 3 flying clotheslines and a running knee to the side of Becky's head. Maxine then landed a fisherman suplex. She kipped up. She lowered her straps, a la Kurt Angle. Applied an ankle lock, which I'm assuming she learned from Gable. Becky broke free, punched away at Maxine in the corner. Maxine then powerbombed Becky out of the corner and scored a 2 count. The powerbomb itself did not look good. Maxine, the way she hit the powerbomb, if I remember correctly, she came down ass first, and then Becky followed, and it was not in a fluid motion all at the same time. So she actually hit the mat first before Becky did, instead of delivering the maneuver where both of them hit the mat at the same time. Again, she's not all there. She is slowly piecing things together, and she's still very green. Maxine tried to climb the top rope. Becky got up there, knocked her off. She then landed a superplex for a 2 count. She followed up with a disarmer. They exchanged leverage 2 counts. Maxine landed a spinning wheel kick for a near fall, and the crowd really popped, and Joe Test sold it on commentary, as did Wade Barrett. They were great here. Maxine then leapt off the top rope with a nice crossbody press. Becky rolled through the crossbody and scored a 2 count. Maxine put her leg on the middle rope for added leverage to score another near fall, and she was shocked that she didn't get it. And she stayed shocked until Becky got another attack in. Maxine didn't do anything, and she thought she'd get the victory. She's trying to take any way she can get the victory here. She's come close, and now she's getting frustrated. Becky went on the attack with a kick to the head. Maxine dropped out to the floor. Becky rammed her into the announce desk. She then bashed Maxine with a Prime Energy bottle on the outside, which I'm assuming is not a disqualification because it's fucking out there every single week. Becky broke the count and argued with the ref before going after Maxine at ringside again, where they remained. She rammed her into the announce desk again, and all of a sudden Becky Lynch gets onto the announce desk as she's in complete control here. She's talking up to the crowd. She's talking Maxine. I'm the best. I'm the best. Everybody says it. Sports Illustrated says it. Bleacher Report says it. ESPN says it. She's got her back turned to Maxine, and she doesn't see Maxine getting in the ring while the referee is administering her 10 count. Jessica Carr is counting 8, 9. Maxine's back in the ring, and Becky's still trash talking everybody. Count of 10 hits. Maxine's in the ring. Becky's on the outside. The bell rings. We get a count out victory from Maxine Dupri, and the crowd pops. I don't remember hearing a pop for a count-out victory that loud in forever. But Maxine Dupri got the win. She didn't get the visual pin on Becky. She was close. But she got a count-out victory because Becky was cocky. And Becky was acting like Becky. She took her eye off the ball and Maxine took advantage. Maxine wins via count-out in 14 minutes. I'm not the biggest Maxine Dupri fan. I'm not. There's a lot of work to be done there to make me a believer that she could actually exist in this current division. There's no way anybody is going to look at me as I'm live here tonight in front of almost 2,000 people on a Monday night. There's no way anybody's going to look at me and say, well, she belongs in the division. Sure. But there's no way you could possibly believe she could stand next to a Stephanie Vaquer, a Natalya, a Rhea Ripley, an Asuka, an IYO, a Bayley, a Roxanne, a Lyra. I mean, this division is fucking absolutely monstrous. Stacked. Maxine is not going to be able to stand next to those names. Not right now. But I will give Maxine credit where she has obviously earned it from a fan. Early on, Maxine was absolutely atrocious. She didn't belong in a ring, and she had to look more of a valet than she did an active in-ring performer. This is obviously something that is very important to her. I don't know what her desire is in this business. I don't know what her goals are in this business. But clearly, as long as she's been with the WWE, she doesn't want to be straddled with the gimmick of yet another pretty face in this division with no fucking talent. Another blonde in this division that is stereotyped by wrestling fans, that stands there and looks pretty and does nothing else. That is something that I could appreciate. She doesn't want to be that. She does not want to fit into that stereotype. There's too many of that anyway. It's very typical in WWE as well. The fact that she's training and the fact that she's putting shit together and actually wrestling when she doesn't really have to. I find that very respectable and I find that commendable. Now, she's not there yet, clearly. But the fact that she went 14 minutes with the best that the division has to offer in Becky Lynch, and she got the crowd to buy into that one pinfall, especially where Becky got her shoulder up. I thought it was a fucking 3 count. I even said, oh, shit, on the couch. She's got this underdog babyface persona that is incredibly likable. And WWE needs to know that that is something special. If they can continue to present Maxine in that way, and at the same time she continues to get better, week after week, month after month, they got something very special there. They got a story that is going to be very, very relatable to the audience. Again, I don't know if we're going to get there or not, but tonight was a great first step in achieving that. This was the best match that she's ever wrestled. 14 minutes with the Intercontinental Champion. Becky Lynch on the flip side. Again, I'm not the biggest Becky Lynch fan. But if you guys have been watching me since the WrestleMania season this year, I did not get into the Becky Lynch heel run until we really settled into maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks after it actually happened. I felt like they flipped it. She showed up at Mania as a babyface. The very next night, they turned heel on Lyra, and they built something with Lyra that I very much enjoyed. I thought for that first night, it was very forced and just came out of nowhere. What are we doing? And then Becky settled into that heel role, and I honestly feel like she's done the best work of her career. Not only from an in-ring perspective, but also as an actual heel character on the show. Then they paired her with Seth Rollins, which was a natural fit. And they integrated her into the CM Punk AJ Lee storyline, which was great. And that was some of the best segments that WWE produced all year. with Becky and Punk and AJ and all four of them together. I don't know what WWE's plan is for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't. You would think that Becky and AJ Lee was going to be the direction for the Intercontinental Championship. A lot of us predicted that it would take place at Crown Jewel because AJ got the pin, or made Becky tap out, rather, at WrestlePalooza. She tapped out the Intercontinental Champion. By all accounts, that should net AJ Lee a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know what their plan is. But with AJ being off television, for now, Becky Lynch had nobody else to work with. So they threw Maxine Dupree in there, and again, she shocked everybody by producing a semi-decent fucking match here that a lot of people are saying is the best match of her career. And it is. Becky deserves a lot of credit for taking somebody in Maxine and being such a great character and such a great heel, and the way that she works and the way that she plays up the crowd. It enhanced everything that Maxine was trying to do in that ring. So when you look at Becky Lynch and you don't appreciate what Becky Lynch has done, you need to start appreciating Becky Lynch for what she's doing. This is the heel that the division needs. And she's doing some great work. And Maxine benefited from that tremendously tonight. Again, I don't know where they go, but clearly Becky Lynch is on some sort of storyline where she needs to go back and reevaluate who she is. What that means, where that goes, I don't know. Where this goes with Maxine, I can't tell you. I don't know if this is a one-off just to get a match and a couple of segments on TV, or if WWE's got some long-term plan where they're going to start incorporating Maxine Dupree on television a little bit more often and start building up her as a character in the women's division. Again, I don't know. But it reminds me of what AEW did with Harley Cameron. This is what I said earlier at the top. It reminds me of what WWE, or AEW rather, did with Harley Cameron going into Grand Slam Australia in February of this year, where they built her up and they put her in a match because it's Australia and she's from Australia, and they put her in a TBS title match against Mercedes Moné, when we all know that she wasn't ready for that spot at all. She wasn't ready for that spot because she didn't earn a championship match. She wasn't ready for that spot because she's not very good. And they only booked her there because she's from Australia. That was it. That should have been a star-making moment for Harley Cameron. And AEW did nothing. AEW proceeded to put her in a lucha mask and have her follow around the Beast Mortos and follow around Hologram. They even dubbed her Harley Graham on Collision for weeks, months, wearing this lucha mask. Coming out of a TBS title feud with Mercedes Moné, they failed to follow up at all. And this is where Mercedes' run has failed. When you look at Mercedes and Becky, who are you going to take at the end of the day? Who has done more for their division? When you look at them side by side, it certainly isn't Mercedes. Becky Lynch has done so much more for her division than Mercedes has done in 2025. And that is the primest of examples with Harley Cameron. Becky Lynch made Maxine Dupree. She made Maxine Dupree ascend to the next level, whatever that is, while Mercedes worked with Harley Cameron and did nothing for Harley Cameron. Absolutely nothing. She benefited from nothing. That's what I look at. That's the comparison I made tonight when I'm watching this match. Now, again, is WWE going to do something with Harley Cameron following, or Maxine Dupree, where AEW didn't do anything with Harley Cameron? I don't know. I don't know. That's on them. And I will be paying attention to what they do or don't do with Maxine Dupree. I don't know how you don't follow it up when she went 14 minutes with the Intercontinental Champion. They need to do something. Now, Becky's already stated she's not going to Perth. So we're not getting a rematch there. They may save it for Saturday night's main event. I don't know. But I thought what Maxine Dupree did here tonight was, it was respectable. And it's a beautiful thing to see that she's so determined to erase those stereotypes, get in there, and actually compete with someone like Becky Lynch. She should be very proud of herself tonight. Backstage. The Usos approach Roman Reigns backstage. Jimmy asked if he just heard Heyman and Reed bury his uncle and his dad. Jay looked away. He told Reigns that at Crown Jewel, he's got him. I'll back you up against Bronson Reed in the street fight, Us. Reigns says, I don't want anybody's help. I don't want your help, especially from you. Reigns told Jay he already told him to own the room that he walks into and focus on his business. Reigns then asked Jay, who is out at the top of the hour? Jay then said, it was Punk. Reigns says, it's not you, huh? You're not going on at the 9 o'clock hour? Jay left angry. Reigns then stood alone with Jimmy and told Jimmy, you know I see and I hear everything. What is the problem with your brother taking advice from me? Jimmy had nothing to say. He didn't say a single word to Roman Reigns. I don't know where they're going with any of this Uso and Roman Reigns stuff. I really don't. That's a great thing about it. I don't know where the fuck it's going. I know they'll be in War Games, but I don't know where it's going. Bayley. She's backstage in Gorilla with Lyra Valkyria. She let out a big excitement being next to Lyra. She was over the top, elated that Lyra is wrestling Roxanne Perez. She said this is a future WrestleMania main event in the making. No, it's not. She said she wanted to go out there and be in Lyra's corner. Lyra was once again confused, but she said, I could use all the help I could get, so what the hell, yes. Bayley said they should do the handshake. They fumbled this handshake that basically was created right there in the moment. She then spit on her hand and shook Lyra's hand with the spitty hand. Bayley is losing her mind, and I love it. Lyra and Roxanne Perez went 8 minutes. Nothing too crazy here. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. They go right into a commercial break after 2 minutes or so. Rodriguez is out there with Roxanne. She distracted the referee as Lyra was standing on the second rope. Lyra did not go for what she was planning to do on Perez. Perez got up, set up another move. Bayley held on to Lyra to prevent whatever she was doing. So Roxanne fell backwards off the top rope. Lyra landed a moonsault. She got a cover on Roxanne and got a 2 count for it. Rodriguez kicked Bayley at ringside as Bayley was calling for Nightwing. Lyra then kicked Rodriguez. Perez leapt through the ropes and DDT'd Lyra through the ropes on the floor. We go back into the ring. She eventually landed Pop Rocks for the 1, 2, 3, and Roxanne wins in about 8 minutes. That was basically it. After the match was over, Bayley is upset. She's yelling at Lyra. She grabs Lyra and forces them out of the ring, and they go charge up the aisleway after the Judgment Day, after Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. They got to go beat them up. And that's the way the match came to an end. And nothing too crazy. Whatever tensions exist between these 4 women, they're just kind of playing week-to-week television with all 4 characters. Don't know where it's going, but I assume Bayley eventually is going to completely turn on Lyra, and we're going to focus more on Lyra and Bayley instead of Lyra and Bayley on the Judgment Day. We got a great video package airing on the history of John Cena and AJ Styles. I know some geeks will be complaining that it was randomly thrown together and there's no real story and blah, 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 blah. It's John Cena's final match. He's already had a butchered half of a year. Let's cut the shit and stop complaining about John Cena and who he's wrestling in his final 5 appearances. You should be fucking lucky we're getting John Cena and AJ Styles, as I don't believe this was in the plans when John Cena's retirement tour was planned. This was a great video package, starting with their first match in 2016. Jackie Redmond narrated this and said, until then, they had been on completely different paths. With Cena as the face of WWE and Styles as the face of TNA, he said fans were about to find out the answer to a decades-old question of what would happen if they faced each other. Clips out of their match from SummerSlam 2016, which Styles won. Then they battled at the 2017 Royal Rumble, and John Cena regained his WWE title, which was my favorite John Cena and AJ Styles match. I thought that match was fucking great. Great. Plus, you got Mauro Ranallo on the call. I mean, how could you not like that? With animosity dissolved and respect earned, they went their separate ways until now, says Jackie Redmond, narrating this. Then they showed Cena on social media saying the fans want it, so he's up for it. Another match against Styles. The narrator, Jackie Redmond, said both men were nearing the twilight of their careers, so fans wanted to see them wrestle again in what will be the last chapter of their story. 2 generational talents, 1 final showdown. Man, I am between Rollins and Rhodes. And then this, it's going to be very difficult, man, to find a WWE PLE all year with as strong of a punch, a 1-2 punch, than Cody Rollins and then Cena Styles. I am pumped for both of these matches, bro. These matches, we may have 2 match of the year candidates right here in both of these. Especially seeing what Cena has done with Logan Paul and Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. I know the Lesnar match was bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. This is going to wash that all away, bro. You're not even going to realize that happened. I don't even know why that happened looking back at it. It was awful. They may revisit that back inside War Games. I don't know, as I think Cena's going to be part of War Games. But this match is going to be fucking great, man. I'm very excited about this Cena-Styles match at Crown Jewel. And Styles tonight said that they're going to leave it all in the ring and they're going to give us something that we will all remember. And I believe them. Absolutely do. Jackie Redmond then interviewed AJ Styles backstage after she narrated such a great video package. She asked how he was preparing for the match with John Cena. He did not get a chance to speak here as Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough walked in. Dominic says he couldn't beat him. So what makes him think that he's going to beat John Cena at Crown Jewel? Balor says he's making a huge mistake. Styles took that as a threat. He offered to have a 3-on-3 match tonight. He says he has someone in mind to join him and Dragon Lee. Styles left. McDonough felt like their plan backfired here, and Balor wondered who their partner would be. As we all found out later, it was Penta, who also wants a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. So right after that, Styles pitched Penta to join him and Dragon Lee. Penta said he was listening to their offer. Suddenly, there were loud noises off in the distance, and the camera turned to where we found Bayley and Lyra attacking Raquel Rodriguez. Roxanne Perez was nowhere in sight. They threw her into the wall, threw her into some steel barricades backstage. Perez eventually ran out to even the score here, and officials started pulling them apart. And Adam Pearce almost had a stroke. He was yelling so loudly as he tried to separate all 4 of these women. Can I just say, I don't know if this is a new thing that WWE is doing, but we got it last week And I think the week before that, and now we see it again here tonight. We got Roman Reigns in the opening segment with Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. After that was over, we immediately go backstage to Roman Reigns walking backstage and coming across Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. And they have a backstage segment. Then we get this. We get the video package with John Cena and AJ Styles. We go right into a live interview with Jackie Redmond and AJ Styles, which then leads into the Judgment Day, talking shit to AJ Styles. Styles pitching a 3-on-3 match. They got to go find a partner. And then after the next segment is Styles going to find Penta and asking Penta to be their tag team partner tonight with him and Dragon Lee against the Judgment Day. Things are happening in sequential order. We go from one segment to the next. The show feels like it makes sense. We go from one scene into the next scene, which has a direct effect on what happened in the previous scene. I love it. I don't know if this is something new that WWE is doing. I don't remember them doing that all that often. But I very much appreciate that because it keeps the show in order and it makes it make sense, honestly. And if you guys have ever asked me, JD, what would you do to change AEW Dynamite for the better? You're looking at it. If AEW adopted this same mentality on Dynamite on Wednesday, the show would feel so much better off for it. But they don't. They barely give you a backstage segment. They barely give you TV time to flesh out these characters. They barely give you anything to make you care about the shit that you're seeing on television. There's barely any dialogue. They're allergic to dialogue. And then when you do get dialogue, the production and the sound is so garbage. It is so trash. It sounds like they're in a fucking wind tunnel half the time. So if you guys have ever wondered what I would do, one of the many changes I would do to make Dynamite a better show, you're looking at it. Look at what WWE's doing here with Raw. Everything is happening in a progression. Everything is happening in sequential order. In order in which it's supposed to happen. Moving on. CM Punk made his way, 9 o'clock hour here. He's in the ring with a microphone. It's always a good thing. He asked if it was great to be alive in Dallas, Texas. He says they are loud. And then he asked if they missed him. He thanked them for welcoming AJ Lee back to the WWE. Fans chanted for AJ Lee. Punk was wearing a pink shirt in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. He says they are right around the corner from Crown Jewel, where Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins will wrestle in the main event. He says he hasn't been around for 2 weeks because he promised Cody he'd stay out of his business. He says it's title versus title, and then went on to say that neither title is on the line. But they'll be wrestling for their egos. They'll be wrestling for supremacy. He said he and his wife have been celebrating the last 2 weeks, beating Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at WrestlePalooza. He says he began the year beating Seth on Raw on the debut on Netflix, and he wants to end the year doing the same thing. He pointed at a fan sign who said Punk deserves to get his WWE title back, the World's Heavyweight title back. He said the better word than deserve is earned. He says he will get his world title back and he will earn it. LA Knight's music hit. He walks on out. Let me talk to you. He told Punk, look in his eyes. What do you see? Punk chimed in with someone who interrupted me. I laughed. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so fucking great. Knight says what he sees is a man who is a big force who walked through the doors and blew the doors off this place, but still hasn't gotten what he has earned and deserves, which is my reign as a world heavyweight champion. Knight said Punk said some truths, but there were some omissions as well. Knight said Punk is known for the pipe bomb, but lately he's been more about being a husband, which Punk said, is that a bad thing? Knight said, no. It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing, actually. However, as good of a husband you seem to be, you are a trash champion. He's just trying to get under CM Punk's skin. He didn't even have a full reign as champion. His reign lasted 5 minutes. LA Knight's just being a dick. He said Punk had 5 minutes as champion, and then Seth pinned him. He said Seth pinned him at Clash in Paris. He asked if he knows the shoulders Seth has never pinned. Then Punk said, I can imagine it's someone who has never, ever been world champion. Am I correct? Again, I laughed. Punk is quick with the fucking jabs, bro. Love it. Knight said, yeah, that's a cute line, but he's never been pinned by Punk. He says he's a 2-time winner, although one of them was due to a DQ that Punk caused. Punk agreed. He willingly did that. He says he was the last one to pin Seth, and he will be the one to end his reign as World Heavyweight Champion. Jey Uso's music hits, and Jey walks out down the aisleway. Now, remember, Roman told him who's going on at the 9 o'clock hour. Jey told Roman it was Punk. So Jey got angry because Roman said, yeah, and it's not you. They got him out there, but not you. So he went out there and he changed the script because he was angry. So Jey gets into the ring and says, I'm the one. He says he's the one who never got a rematch and is up next for a rematch against the world champion. So he gets in LA Knight's face, as they've had a problem for many, many weeks now. Knight said Jey had his time, and that came and went. Knight said Punk thinks it's his time, and Jey thinks it's his time, but obviously Punk thinks it's his time. And out of all the people in the ring, I think CM Punk has the best case for being in line first for the World Championship. He told Jey, you won't ever be Roman Reigns. He says it's fine if he carves his own path, but that might be best, focusing on tag teams. So he tells Jey Uso, LA Knight does, it might be best if you start focusing on tag team. He says that didn't go well for him last week, but he said he should stop sucking at it. LA Knight, man, what a prick. Jimmy didn't like that, so he walked out, Jimmy Uso. So LA Knight, he's blabbing to Jimmy, I got no problem with you. You know, hopefully we're good. Jey then super kicked LA Knight as Jimmy entered the ring. Punk told the Usos he assumes that they're cool and that you guys aren't out here interrupting me, or at least Jimmy anyway, that Jimmy's not out here interrupting me. He then gets in Jay's face and told him, you need to get in line behind me. And then he goes on to tell Jey that he likes him, but he doesn't like little Roman. Jey got in Punk's face. They start arguing. Jimmy stepped in between them. Jey tried to super kick Punk, but Jimmy stopped him. He blocked it. Punk then pushed Jimmy aside and swung and hit Jey with his glasses on. Punk yelled to Jey, you stay out of my business. Jimmy, conflicted now, obviously wanting to stand with his brother, ended up super kicking CM Punk. And both the Usos laid out LA Knight and CM Punk in this segment, which I thought was great. Again, I don't know where we're going with this. I don't. But it sets up a competitive circle for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk, Knight, Uso. Is it exciting or as exciting as it should be? No. I'm over the Jey Uso chasing the World Championship. I'm done with that. I actually agree with the dialogue from LA Knight where I think Jimmy and Jey Uso need to focus on the tag team championships. But that's just me. That's just me. I don't know how you guys feel. I'm done with the Jey Uso chasing the World Championship. We've been there, done that. It doesn't matter how much of an edge Jey Uso has or how much he's turning into mini Roman. I don't care for it. I don't. It wasn't exciting the first time, and I doubt it would be any different the second time. Do I want to see CM Punk chase a world championship? Yes. I don't really care to see him and Rollins wrestle anymore. The story's fine, but we've been dragging this on for months. I don't know if it will happen. I don't. In a perfect world, CM Punk abandons all this and says, fuck it. You want Rollins? You take him. I'm going to go win the Rumble. I'm going to challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. That's something I'm more interested in. I don't want to see Rollins and Punk for the World Championship. I don't. I don't want to see Rollins and Punk fight again. I don't. He's already making promises that he's going to wrestle Rollins at the end of the year. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to see it. There's nothing more that they could do to interest me. I'm more interested in Punk and Cody. That's what I want my WrestleMania main event to be. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Do we get there? Way too early to tell. I would be more interested in an LA Knight World title run than a Jey Uso and a CM Punk. I would. Again, I don't know if WWE is going to have the balls to do that because I feel like they're allergic to pushing LA Knight past a certain point. I don't think they want to. They want to keep him on a short leash and they don't want him to go walking too far, which is fucked up. The guy's put in work. He's still incredibly over, and the fans love him. And he's a huge merch seller. I don't know what else the guy's got to fucking do. But I will say, LA Knight and CM Punk in the ring together, they're fucking great. On the microphone, going back and forth, man, you feel the tension. You feel the energy there, man. Two big egos. Two guys that don't want to be upstaged. And it comes across fucking great on television. And that is just raw, real television, man. You let them both fly with a microphone in their hand, man. It is entertaining television. Now, I don't know what the War Games teams are going to be. I think it is for certain that John Cena, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns are on the teams. Are on the babyface side. I am very much believing that those are the three big baby faces on Team WWE here against the Vision. Do we round that out with the Usos? Do we round that out with Jey Uso and LA Knight? Do we round that out with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu? I don't know. Maybe the Usos aren't involved. Maybe it's Reigns, Punk, Cena, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu against Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. I like the fact that there's a little dash of unpredictability there. I like the fact that Punk and Knight have tension. I like the fact that the Usos now have tension with each other. Jimmy doesn't know what Jay's doing. Jay's trying to be mini Roman. Roman's giving Jay tips and tutelage on how to be and what to do and how to present himself. Jimmy doesn't know what the fuck's going on because he's pissed. He feels like he's losing his brother. There's a lot of moving parts here going into War Games. I love it. I love it. There's a lot of moving parts, man. And when there's a lot of moving parts and everything is integrated and bleeds into each other, man, that's going to make for not only a volatile War Games, but a very story-rich War Games. Then you not only have the babyface bullshit that's going on with all those guys, then you got the Rollins and Heyman stuff, which we'll get into in a little bit because that was probably the best segment of the entire show. This was great. This was excellent. We had a vignette with IYO SKY asking Asuka, or saying to Asuka, that she isn't family anymore, but she thinks Kairi is. So Asuka no, Kairi yes. She said Asuka will find out at Crown Jewel that Asuka isn't ready for IYO. We'll go right into the match. IYO and Kairi Sane one-on-one here on Monday Night Raw. Pick it up at the top here. IYO wiped out Asuka with a dive before the match officially began. Didn't really matter. Sky went for Sane, on the outside of the ring, there was the distraction by Asuka, which allowed Sane to shove her into the side of the ring, which the next spot was fucking ridiculous. Sane followed by giving Io an Alabama slam on the side of the ring. And this looked awful. It looked like Io's head slammed right against the ring. Her arms were up too, so hopefully her upper back and her arms caught the most of it. But man, you look at it in actual speed, the way that it happened, it looked like Io's head hit the back of the ring apron, man. It looked fucking bad. So Io continued with the match. So I'm assuming she was all right. I'm hopeful she's all right. Sane went for an insane elbow. Io got the feet up and followed with a corner meteora, which she calls the bullet train. So Asuka jumped on the ring apron, which distracted Io. This allowed Kairi to cradle Io as Asuka held Sane's arms down for leverage, and they got the leverage victory over Io as Kairi pins her 1, 2, 3. Asuka held Io down after the match was over in a 2-on-1 attack, and Kairi hit the insane elbow as the crowd was chanting for Rhea Ripley. But Rhea Ripley was not in the building tonight as she is doing promotional work in Australia, in Perth, for Crown Jewel, as she's not in the country. She's not here. She's over there already. 10 minutes, Kairi beats Io. Speaking of great video packages, there was a fucking phenomenal video package with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. This was part 2 of whatever they showed last week. This one was titled Allies. This was great because it showed Cody being helped by Rollins at WrestleMania. Them shaking hands and Rollins being Cody's shield and obviously lifting the dark veil, the dark cloud over WrestleMania that was Roman Reigns' title run. And he mentioned Roman Reigns and the fact that he's tried to separate himself from Roman Reigns and be different from Roman Reigns. But him and Roman Reigns' paths were always going to cross. And I needed to do something to get him off of that power trip he was on. And he helped Cody Rhodes by aiding, by being his shield. And then they document in this video package that Rollins was upset with Cody because after everything that Cody had to do to beat Roman, using Rollins, getting help from Cena, getting help from everybody, Rollins documented that he was so upset that he put his body on the line, his fucking well-being on the line to be Cody's shield, and then he flushed it all down the toilet 6 months later at Bad Blood when he teamed with Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. So not only did I help you beat this man, you welcomed him back in. You gave him that power right back, as if nothing happened. It is very easy to see why Seth Rollins looks at Cody Rhodes with such disgust and disappointment. You don't really need a complex story to tell here. Everything just lines up beautifully. This video package did an excellent job of documenting that. So we go from this video package right into the backstage with the Vision. Just Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch. Now, Heyman's sitting in the background. Becky is just ranting and raving about how the fans don't deserve her, and how the referee was crooked. She says she needs to go home and reevaluate everything. If this is how they're going to treat her, they don't deserve me. She says they need better referees. She walks away. She says she's not going to Perth. She's going home to reevaluate. When she left, Rollins is still looking at his watch. He's fixing that Rolex. He's got this thing about this fucking Rolex that Cody gave him. Paul, we should talk. I have to win on Saturday. Heyman smiles and says, you're going to win. Like he's already got the plan. You're going to win. Rollins asks, what if I don't? You will. You're not hearing me, Paul. What if I don't? What happens if I loses? He wanted Paul Heyman to be upfront and honest with him, so Heyman got very serious. Heyman says, if you lose to Cody on Saturday, you will lose the locker room. You will lose the faith that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed put into your vision. Your vision is the one that will lead us into the future. That will not happen anymore. You will throw everything away that they've built since WrestleMania and that the entire Netflix era has been built around you. And you will become nothing than a de facto want-to-be secondary champion. He told himself, do yourself a favor then and don't lose. Heyman turned to leave and Seth grabbed him by the arm. Now Seth was mad. Seth says he noticed he left someone out of the equation. You didn't mention yourself. You mentioned Bronson and you mentioned Breaker, but you didn't mention you. So tell me, Paul, what happens if I lose? Heyman says to Seth, I'm your secret weapon. Cody is 3-0 against you. Seth says he asked him with a straight face, a simple question, and he wants a straight answer. Heyman says if he loses to Cody at some point, I have to start asking myself why I picked you. Why I picked you over Roman Reigns. Heyman then left. Now, I didn't really take anything away from this but two things. One, Heyman already has it in the back of his mind that Rollins is going to win because Heyman is going to see that that is the result. What that means, I don't know. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't remember when, but I know I said it on this show and I reiterated it with the Silent Monster on TNT a couple of weeks ago. He didn't seem to think so, but I threw it out there. I see Brock Lesnar being the secret weapon here, helping Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes. Now, does Lesnar fly all the way to Australia to go F5 Cody Rhodes? Call it a night and go home? It's a little ridiculous. It's a lot of ask from Lesnar. But if we're going to set up war games and Lesnar is going to be back and he's going to be in major situations, maybe we should get Lesnar integrated into the fucking show as long as it makes sense. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker helping Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes is fucking lame. It's boring. It's been done to death. That is the one outcome I don't want to see happen. Drew McIntyre's another one. He's got a problem with Cody. He could absolutely be there and claymore Cody, which he wasn't allowed to do at WrestlePalooza. Or we could get a new member into the Vision, somebody that we haven't really seen yet on television. Who that may be, I don't know. All I know is that Seth Rollins is going to beat Cody Rhodes because Paul Heyman is going to see that play out. I don't think Heyman trusts Seth Rollins. I don't. I think from what we're seeing, Paul Heyman realizes that Cody has mentally deteriorated Seth Rollins to a point where now he is doubting himself. And if the World Heavyweight Champion is doubting himself, the vision of what he wants for the WWE is not going to see itself play out. How could it when you have a doubtful champion? You cannot have and you cannot afford to have a doubtful champion. That is not a leader. So not only did Cody Rhodes throw it at Seth Rollins that he's beat him 3 separate times already, and Rollins holds 0 wins over Cody, he's already thrown it out there that Rollins isn't even running his own operation. It's Paul Heyman who's running his operation because he said Were you the one that allowed Paul Heyman to go out there and announce Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza? Who's really running the show here? Seth thinks he is. We know he's not. There's a lot that's going on here. I think that Paul Heyman tonight, by opening up to Rollins and being truthful with Rollins, is trying to get him back on track. Because the words Roman Reigns to Seth Rollins is an instant trigger. Fuck Cody. Cody did what Cody usually does. He plays mind games. He plays mind games in a very babyface-like way. He plays mind games with his opponent, and he's very good with the way he articulates himself. He knows he has Rollins mentally. But what gets Rollins back on track is when you put him in the same sentence as Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman mentioned, you're going to make me question why I left Roman Reigns to begin with to join you. When you start to tell Rollins that he's not better than Roman Reigns, that's when you really bring out the Rollins that we need. So Heyman mentioning Reigns tonight to Rollins was a way to get him back on track. He didn't say it because he's going to dump him. He didn't say it because he's thinking about leaving and going with somebody else and taking the group with him. He said it because he knows exactly the trigger word that Roman Reigns is to Seth Rollins. This entire segment, mixed with what we got, with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins in the last 2 weeks, the vignettes, the promos that we got, the video package that we got, the part 1 and part 2 video package, this has been the best built main event that WWE's put on all year. All year. From a storyline perspective, from a build perspective. Now, the best main event that WWE's had all year on PLE was the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania with Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, and then the Cena-Cody main event of SummerSlam. And then Rhea Io, I can't forget that one. That's Evolution. This is going to be right up there. This is going to be better than those for the simple fact of, look at the history, look at the story, look at the way we're telling this story and how it's going to bleed into Survivor Series. This was fantastic television. This was a tremendous piece of business. We go from that to Jay. He's yelling at Jimmy backstage in front of Roman Reigns. He says they got a tag team match now. Jay stormed off. He didn't want the tag team match. He wants nothing to do with these guys. Jimmy told Reigns that he's messing with Jay's mind and he's thinking a certain way. You know, you said you see and hear everything. So do I, Us. I don't like the way my brother's acting. And then he says that Jay and himself are not like Roman. Reigns says he knows Jimmy isn't hearing him right now, but he should listen to him. He says when Jay won the world title, he became more like me and less like you. He told Jimmy if he really wants to help Jay, he needs to just stay out of his way. Now, I hope, like I said before, I don't know where this is going and what tensions are going to come from this going into War Games. But I feel like with the line of Jay became more like me and less like you, I hope that the direction is to get Jimmy on the same level as Jay. Otherwise, I don't really see the point of all of this taking place. You can't have Roman and then Jay and then Jimmy lagging way behind. If what Roman said here isn't about getting Jimmy to the next level and Jimmy being on the same level as Jay, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. I really don't. I like that we got multiple segments here because this reminds me of what we loved so much about the original Bloodline. The stuff that was happening on Friday. We have characters that are established, that we know their history. We're interested in their history. We want to see where it goes. WWE has done a very, very good job of telling fleshed out stories on Monday night with characters that we genuinely want to see on television. AJ Styles, Penta and Dragon Lee against Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. This went 13 minutes. This was good. This was fun. We'll pick it up at the top here. AJ obviously going into his match with John Cena. Getting some work in before he flies to Australia. So they went to commercial break twice within the first 8 minutes. I don't know why. So Dragon Lee made a hot tag to Penta. Penta ran wild for a Canadian Destroyer. He went for a Canadian Destroyer. McDonough reversed it into a Spanish Fly. Styles tagged in. Hit Dominic with a spinning rack bomb. McDonough broke up the cover. Styles went for the cover there. McDonough saved it. Dragon Lee got rid of JD McDonough. Penta wiped out Balor with a flip dive. Dominic went for a 619 on AJ, but stopped in his tracks upon seeing Rusev. Yes! Rusev is out there. He marched out. Dominic grabbed his titles and bailed from ringside. He tried to escape. Rusev caught him. Penta went to super kick Dom, but Dominic ducked. Penta super kicked Rusev by mistake. Could be a little tease there. Dominic bailed through the crowd. Styles grabbed McDonough. Hits a Styles Clash for the 1, 2, 3. Styles grabbed McDonough after the Styles Clash. Got the win. Grabbed the microphone and said his match against Cena didn't need a story because it writes itself. Two men will dance for the last time. They will leave it all in the ring, and the match is going to kick ass. And then he saluted John Cena. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Next week, they have Dominic and Penta for the Intercontinental Championship already announced, and Bayley and Lyra versus Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez. Already announced for Monday Night Raw next week. Monday Night Raw next week will have an 8 a.m. start time. I don't know what I'm doing. As far as Crown Jewel starting at 8 a.m., I will be watching Crown Jewel at 8 a.m. I am not going live immediately after the show is over. I might go live around 2:30 in the afternoon, maybe. But as far as Monday Night Raw, I don't know when I'm going to catch the show. We'll figure it out. I don't like these earlier start times. These international shows always throw me off. So we'll see what happens. But we will be live regardless for both Crown Jewel and Monday Night Raw. Punk and LA Knight backstage. They clearly did not want this match in the main event. Punk approached Knight, said neither of them want this match. Knight said, that's right, but they got to do it. The only thing I ask of you is don't get pinned. And we got the main event, which went 10 minutes. For a big main event here, this was probably the most uneventful thing on the entire show. This was a very uneventful main event with a very flat finish and a very flat ending as they went off the air. Nothing happened. After such a great show, legitimately, nothing happened. Yes, I'll be watching at 8 a.m. Got to get your ass up for work? Bro, I'm not watching Monday Night Raw at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. Really? I'll watch it when I wake up, which is better because when I watch it back on replay on Netflix, I could fast forward through the fucking commercials. They don't give you any commercials. So I'm going to wait till it's over and then watch. And then we'll go live. How about that? This main event went 10 minutes. One of the more uneventful things that WWE's done all year is this. Obviously, Punk and LA Knight were not getting along. Punk chopped Knight's chest to tag him in. Jay launched Knight into the steel steps as the Usos held control through a very early commercial break here. Punk made a hot tag, hit Jimmy with a flying elbow drop. Jimmy slipped out of a GTS attempt, tagged in Jay, who hit an Uso splash, but Knight broke up the cover. Knight gave Jimmy a BFT, or the BLT. Then Jay super kicked LA Knight. Jay speared Punk and went back to the top. Leapt. He was knocked. He tried to knock down LA Knight off the apron. Punk gave Jay a GTS. Knight tagged himself in, and off of Punk's GTS, LA Knight got the pin on Jey Uso. So LA Knight, he was really serious. He didn't want CM Punk to take a pinfall loss here, so he ensured that wouldn't happen. LA Knight and CM Punk beat the Usos 9 minutes, 10 minutes or so. Very weak finish. Very weak end to the show. Nothing happened. But all in all, I thought Monday Night Raw was a very entertaining 2.5 hours. I thought this was one of the best Monday Night Raws in months. Honestly, for the very simple reason, folks, of them telling stories with characters that we are very interested in seeing on the show. It also helped with Roman Reigns and CM Punk back on the show together. It always helps when everybody is there and shows up for work. But I thought Raw was very good. I'm very excited for Crown Jewel, and it's going to be a very eventful week of pro wrestling. Very eventful week. We got Monday Night Raw tonight. We got the showdown between TNA and NXT. We got Dynamite, Title Tuesday. We got SmackDown, Crown Jewel, Bound for Glory is this weekend, I believe, correct? Bound for Glory is on Sunday. I might have to tune into that to see my guy Mike Santana win the World Championship, because I paid for it when they were here at UBS, and they didn't pull the trigger, so I have a feeling that they're going to pull the trigger in Lowell, Massachusetts for Mike Santana. And then Monday night, Perth gets Monday night, 8 a.m. Monday Night Raw. So it's a busy wrestling week, folks, but I'm glad you guys have chosen me here tonight. Thank you very much for all of your supports. I know it's been terribly slow, man. I am trying. I am desperately trying to get some content out there. We'll do our best to get some content out there. As I said, I'll be live tomorrow with the Dynamite post with Jesse. Title Tuesday will be live. I will try and get myself to watch NXT and talk about the Invasion. There's 2 Survivor Series-like matches, one for the men and one for the women, on that TNA NXT showdown tomorrow night. And then we'll figure out when we're going live for the Crown Jewel and Monday Night Raw shows that happen at 8 a.m. But thank you guys for all the support, man. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the great content on the channel. Plenty of it. We did a great video going over the record low Dynamite ratings this past Wednesday. If you guys want to know what the hell happened over there and why the ratings are in a spiraling downward motion, go check that out. Tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you guys need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. Roman Reigns returned on Monday Night Raw. CM Punk returned on Monday Night Raw. Set up his match with Bronson Reed at Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. Love when they're on the show, man. Roman Reigns and CM Punk, man, 2 legends. 2 legends walking into the ring. Punk is in his feud with Rollins. Roman Reigns got flattened by Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris. He's looking for revenge. But let's be real. When it comes to your own main event, you don't want to be the one getting squashed like Roman Reigns did at Clash in Paris by Bronson Reed. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew delivers chewable tablets that give you the performance and the kind of push CM Punk wishes AEW Creative gave him when he was there. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, and basically your own personal title run. Last time I tried Blue Chew's tablets, my junk walked in with Cody's Pyro, Orton's Pose, and Sami Zayn's Underdog Energy. The only thing missing was Aleister Black's creepy entrance music. This isn't just performance. It's what I call a erection resurrection. And unlike WWE Creative, Blue Chew actually delivers. This is about legacy, or what I like to call your third leg. Because when you lay it down, the group chat isn't talking about how the match ended. They're talking about how it got started. And we got a great deal for all of our listeners here on Off the Script. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free on me. Courtesy of the podcast. Just use promo code JD at checkout and pay the $5 for shipping and handling. That's it. So join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. And big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring the show right here on Off the Script. Super chats. Let's get them on in. If you guys want to get them on in, it's the best way to support the show. We'd greatly appreciate it. Start at the top here with Boss Mo Jackson with a $1.99. Hope all is well with you. Glad to be a part of the OTS family. Thank you, Boss Mo Jackson. Michael Krause with a 2. JD OTS, hope everyone had a good weekend. Yeah. Michelle with a 5. Rumor has it that Roman Reigns is main eventing Perth. Isn't that a slap in the face for Cody, Seth, or even Cena? And what if Seth loses on Saturday? Then what? Roman's not main eventing Perth. Roman either closes or opens. And in this case, just like at Clash in Paris, he will be opening the show with Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. Cody is losing to Seth Rollins. There is no way Rollins is losing this match. 0. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. Another week, I couldn't find Jesse's live stream. I haven't heard from Jesse today. He might have had family obligations. It's always family. When Jesse is not live, it's always he's spending time with his family. It's not that big of a deal. He'll be back next week. You'll see him tomorrow with me when we cover Dynamite. Lucas with the $4.99. Even though it's 5 matches, it is a goddamn fine card for Crown Jewel. Better looking than Palooza. And Raw tonight was a lot of fun to watch. I agree. Hit a network with a 12 months. The segment between Heyman and Seth was tremendous piece of business. Now I'm excited for Crown Jewel. OTS for life. Yes, it was. It was a tremendous piece of business. S. Eater Peter with a $5 super chat. It's quite the interesting name there, Ass Eater. Good Raw. Is this Tony Brown? Is this Tony Brown's doppelganger? Good Raw overall tonight. I expect someone to go full heel between Knight, Punk, and Jey Uso. Like I've been saying, I think we are going LA Knight heel. It would be interesting if Roman is going heel and he's going to bring both Usos with him. I just don't see them turning Jey Uso heel. I don't see it. Phil Illuminati with a 2. I was hella surprised by Maxine and Becky's match. Yes, I was. Everybody was surprised. It's crazy. Zero Kaiba with 41 months. Can't wait for Santos Escobar to join the Don Callis family and have real graps on Collision. Yeah, Can you imagine Santos Escobar joining the Don Callis family? It is a possibility, man. We could very well see that. I don't want to see it. I very much never want to see another member in the Don Callis family ever again. Seriously. But we are going to be without Santos Escobar. I don't know. WWE Creative let him down. They didn't really seem interested in pushing him. Even the audiences, when Santos was on TV and he was in the ring wrestling, they just seemed uninterested in anything Santos Escobar was doing. He didn't get over with this audience. Whatever that may be. I don't know. He's got a great look. He was a great in-ring performer. I don't think WWE didn't give him enough to push him to a point where the fans were going to care about him. He had 5 matches on WWE TV all year. 5. He could have been a staple in AAA. I guess he didn't want that. I don't know. But yeah, as of now, he's a free agent. He can show up on Dynamite tomorrow if he wanted. Phil Illuminati with a 5. I'm sensing a glaring suspicion that Seth is going to lose, setting up the fractures of the vision. Now, I don't see Seth losing. I do not see Seth losing. Cornell Bryant with a 199. Sports Illustrated says it. You know? Street Fighter with a $20 super chat. Thank you, brother. The promo package for Stephanie was impressive. Made her a larger-than-life character with heel-like edge. Interesting. Yeah, you know, I have a feeling that babyface Stephanie is going to be... I don't want to use the word because I love her. I think Stephanie as a heel is probably going to be the way. I really do. I don't know. I don't really see the fans aren't there yet. The fans aren't there yet with Stephanie. Ricardo Linnell with a 62 months. JD, you fucking beast. The best of the best of the best is OTS. Fuck the rest. Absolutely. Riley with a 499. Maybe that ESPN grading was the best thing that could have happened to WWE. Hope they can keep it up on Raw. I have no hope for SmackDown. Listen, man, something woke them up. Monday Night Raw has been the best weekly show out of all 3 shows. Illuminati with a 5. Place your bets. Does Santos join the Don Callis family or does he join the Death Riders? Bro, if we see him on Title Tuesday tomorrow from Jacksonville, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Tony Khan Slong Universe 293 with a 499. Justified AEW chance here on tonight's Dynamite with our lowest rating of 452,000. Yeah. They'll be even lower tomorrow. AEW is going to be in the 3s, the 300s on Tuesday. Marcus with a 499. Triple H needs to get with the times and restructure the King of the Ring in a round-robin format like the G1. I feel nothing for single elimination matches. I agree. I'd love a King of the Ring round-robin, like the Continental Classic. WWE would do that so much better than AEW, I believe, because they'd actually incorporate stories into that, where AEW does not. It's just straight wrestling every week. True Crime Unleashed with a 2. Where is Ivy Nile and the Creeds? I don't know. You said they're in TKO Catraz. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Neil Burke with a 5. Orton should turn heel through Heyman and take the title off Cody soon. And the Vision carries both titles for a bit. Great storyline to follow. Randy Orton doesn't need Paul Heyman. Randy Orton doesn't need Paul Heyman to turn heel. If Randy Orton's going to turn heel, he's going to be turning heel on his own. He's been eyeing that fucking title for 2 years now. Every time he's on TV with Cody, glances at the title in some loving, lustful way. Jay Barker with a $5 super chat. What's up, y'all? My Jaguars won against the Chiefs. Been a decade since we had a chance at the playoffs. Feels great to be a Jags fan now. Wow, you mean the Khan family isn't fucking something up? It's unbelievable. True Crime Unleashed. $2 super chat. Roman telling Jimmy to get out of Jay's way. Sounds like Jimmy's going to need to fall in line, bro. Sounds like Jimmy's got no choice but to follow the leader. Like I said, I don't know what the reason for the story is and what the reason for the tension is. But he did say when he won that world championship, he became less like Jimmy and more like Roman. To me, that means they're trying to get Jimmy to hopefully Jimmy to the next level. Captain Solo with a 51 months. Any shot Penta's winning that IC title from Dominic? I'd love to see it. I don't think so. I don't think so. Though I do think Penta winning the title and then dropping it to Rusev is a great way to go about it. I don't know. I think Dominic is beyond that Intercontinental title now. He hasn't done shit for it. And Armando with a 31 months here in the venue. Going to New York City November 1st to November 4th. Need a good brewery and good Italian restaurant. Craft beer, and I'll buy you 4 rounds, JD. A good brewery. You go to Brooklyn Brewery, number 1. That's great. I believe there's Greenpoint Brewery as well. Brooklyn Brewery is... I love Brooklyn Brewery, man. It's so fucking good. I actually miss it. I haven't gone all summer, man. I would love to go. If you're going to go to some bars, Peculiar Pub on the west side is my favorite. It's pretty much all I do. I love the Dead Poet on Amsterdam Avenue as well. Yeah. A good Italian restaurant, man. John's on 14th is good, I believe. And what the fuck is the name of that one? I don't know. I'll get back to you on the Italian ones, but you can't go wrong with any place to drink in New York City, honestly. Clone Force with a $4.99. Seth versus Roman, WrestleMania 42. I feel for Jay or Jimmy will turn on Roman at 42 because they don't want Roman to get power again as champion. Could be. And Tony Khan Slong Universe 293 Ass Eater with a $1.99. NY from JD, get ready for 350K, pal. Tony Khan Universe 293 Ass Eater. You believe that? You guys are fucking crazy, man. Thank you guys for a great stream, man. We were rocking and rolling tonight. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn the bell for notifications. Make sure you check out the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. I'll be live tomorrow with Jesse for the Dynamite Title Tuesday post show. And then Solid Monster and I will be live with TNT on Wednesday, 8:30. Busy week. I'll see you guys then, man. Thank you for a great night. And I'll see you all later right here on Off the Script. I'll see you later.